Hey everyone, this is Jesse Singh, and this video is inspired by another YouTube video that I watched, and it made a massive amount of sense. And the truth is, I've been doing this entire time anyway, but I want to really educate you on, what is happening in the economy, especially around car loans, which is the worst ever. People are drowning in actual car loans with these super high interest rates. And the thing about cars is, they're depreciating assets. It's the worst thing to invest in. But most Americans and even Canadians, what they do is they buy a car, right? And they finance it. They put some money down to finance it. And when the financing is done and it's paid off, they either trade it in or sell it and then buy another car and then have car payments again. So, there's a much better way of doing this, especially in today's economy. And if you're struggling with some kind of debt, this is what I would do, okay? Especially if you have a car loan. And also I want to show you exactly what you can do. Instead of paying for a car, there's investments you can make where it will actually pay you a lot of money over the long run. And I'm going to show you an example of this real quick. So the average car loan is actually... I believe it was around $1,000, but that's nuts, really. I'm just thinking about that right now. Personally, I have no car loans. All my cars are paid, and I'm not going to buy any new cars, even though I bought really nice ones. And I'm just like, you know what? The whole money thing got to me, and I was like, you know what? I got to build long-term wealth, okay? Not buying these depreciating assets. And if my wealth, my appreciating assets can fund these things, then it's fine. But if I don't have those appreciating assets, then what's the point, right? So let's just go with a number of, let's say someone is paying $600 a month on a car loan, okay? And they probably, to get that kind of down, that kind of monthly payment, again, this is a lot less than the average. Average is $1,000, which is, again, I'm saying this is insane. Let's say they put $8,100 down. This is pretty typical to get a $600 per month car loan, especially with our interest rates now, which are terrible. In Canada, we're at like over 8%. So I'm assuming that's very similar in the US. But here's a problem with this. Again, like after, if all you do is you finance and then you pay it off and you buy a new car, finance, you're going to be in this cycle of buying new cars all the time, and they're not worth it if you haven't built any kind of wealth yet. So what I would do, and this is super powerful, is let's say you can afford the $600 per month. What I would do is put this in a S&P 500. So far the S&P 500 has been averaging 10% per year for the last several decades. And that's not going to be 10% every single year. Sometimes it's going to be lower, sometimes it's going to be higher, sometimes it's going to be negative, but the average is 10% per year return. So if you actually put the $600 per month in a S&P, right, 500 for, let's say, 30 years, you would make $3.5 million. $3.5 million if you had in the S&P 500, if this is the money you put in, in the S&P 500. Now, and a lot of people are like, oh, wow, that's a long time. 40 years is a long time. So if you did it for, let's say, 20 years, you would make, so 20 years, you would make $450,000, okay? So, I mean, end of the day, this is $450,000, and your car, if you keep buying cars after cars after cars, you know what the value of that would be? Zero. I mean, maybe a junker will take it, but end of the day, a car over 20 years is not worth much. And if you go to the bank for advice, what they're gonna say is, oh yeah, buy that bigger home, buy that car, because at the end of the day, their business is about lending you money, right? They want to lend you money, and that's how they make a profit. Now, I'm not saying, the people that work at the bank are bad or anything. I mean, they got to feed their families, and the way they feed their families is they have to lend you money. So if you're gonna buy a house that's a little bit bigger than you should get, they will probably be like, "Oh, that's okay. It's within the payments. You should be fine." But the truth is, you should always buy a home that is suitable for you. Because at the end of the day, if you just live in a home and you don't do anything about it or don't do anything to it, you're not renting it or anything like that, it's not really an asset anymore, right? So if you're paying interest rates and it takes you 25 years to actually pay off the house, it's no longer an asset. One of the things you can do is, let's say if it's like a duplex or something, then you can rent one side out. Or if you have a 2-story home, there's some places have basements, you can rent out a unit in the basement, and that can pay most of your mortgage or even all of your mortgage. So those are things you can do, and then it becomes an asset. Okay, but if you're just living in your home and doing nothing, and you're just renovating and making, you're pulling money out of your house to fund the renovations, you're just making it worse for yourself. And then in today's economy, that's the last thing you want to do. Okay, so anyway, my whole point here is, if you can spend $8,100 on a down payment, just buy a used car, buy a Toyota Camry or a Corolla, which will last you a long time. And only do this while things get tight, right? Right now, our economy is not that good. And obviously, if you're one of those people where you have everything in check, then you know what? If you have money to spend, then you're good. You built your wealth, then it's fine, right? Personally, even though, I have over $5 million in appreciating assets, I'm still building. Like, I'm still not going to buy any kind of Lamborghini or some fancy car. I'm a car person, by the way, and that's why I keep bringing that up. My first, so when I made my first $1 million in my business, right, I rewarded myself to an AMG, and I bought it brand new. I went to the actual dealership. I checked all the boxes, fully loaded. I wanted the carbon ceramic brakes, so I got that, and then, it was over 100. It was over 6 figures in a car, right? And the thing is, now looking back at that, I probably should have just bought a used one. It would have saved like 20 grand. And that's the thing. So my next AMG, so that one was more of a project, like a project car I wanted to build, and I have built. So that one is like a rear wheel drive. It's making 820 horsepower at the tire, meaning it's like over 900 horsepower with the horsepower at the crank. But in Canada, it snows here, so I needed something as a daily driver. So I wanted another AMG with all-wheel drive, so I bought that. But this time I was smart about it. So it was 2 years old, and I saved $30,000. These cars, a lot of these cars, they depreciate badly, especially luxury cars. And if I think about it now, I should have just bought a Toyota Camry or something. Honestly, yeah, it's fun to drive, but at the end of the day, that wow factor kind of goes away. And even though it's my daily driver, I did tune this too, because I guess I'm always be a gearhead. But I have the money to do that. But I still was smart about making that purchase and saved a lot of money. But going forward, I think I'm just gonna keep it. Just keep it until, honestly, until I feel good about how much wealth I've built, how many appreciating assets I have. Right now, I'm in real estate. I'm doing stocks and also some crypto, and also I'm using a business model, a digital business model to make capital for all this stuff. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm making money online, and instead of burning it on stupidity like a lot of these people do, these influencers, I'm actually putting them in appreciating assets. So I did my whole thing about my car. Okay, so now I'm not going to do that anymore. So I highly recommend, if you are not, if you're not building any kind of wealth, start doing that now. Even if it's the S&P 500, put some money away. Even if it's not $600 a month, like put something in, just so you know that it's building. And if you have any kind of car loans or anything like that, sell your car, especially if you are struggling a little bit. Sell that thing and buy something that's older that will last. I'm telling you, Toyota Camry, or actually even better, Toyota Corolla, because that's a 4-cylinder and it'll be better on gas, and you don't have to worry about premium gas or anything like that. And maintenance is a lot cheaper on that too. So that is what I would recommend if you are struggling with car loans and things are getting a little tight, and it's getting tight, right? And like cost of food and all that, cost of living is up. But if you have a car loan, get rid of that ASAP. That's the first thing I'll get rid of. And the second thing will be credit cards, credit card debt. So if you have this spare money now coming in, so if you have any kind of debt, like credit card or line of credit, I would get rid of that first before I start investing my money, because the interest rates you're paying on that debt is a lot higher than what you can get back from, let's say, the S&P 500, right? So get your debt in order. Once that's done, and if you really try, you can do it. So you just got to focus and just, put your blinders on and just, start basically chopping away at that debt over time. So if you want to learn how you can build some capital, raise some capital, or supplement some of your income online, what I would do is go to this website right now. So I'll actually have it in the description as well. .com. So go there, and what we'll do is we'll help you build a online business around your passions. And if you do this for the long haul, this can supplement a lot of this income. And what you can do with this income is you can first pay off your debt. Like, first of all, I wouldn't quit your job anytime soon. I'll wait until if this income is higher than your job, right? If you're making like an extra $2,000-$3,000 on top of your job with this, let's say you're making $4,000 a month at your job and this is bringing in $8,000, then I would quit. But if it's making the same, then I wouldn't quit just yet, because you want that additional income to pay off all your debt first, right? And this can happen. A lot of my, I have one student that completely crushed it, and he got into this like in 2020, and then he made in a quarter, he made almost $200,000, which is insane. Like, not every student is going to do that, but I mean, the possibility of making money is really, really, it's there. It's there. It's untapped. It's unlimited potential. You don't have to trade your time for money. So this is how I'll build my capital, pay off your debt, sell your car, buy a used older car, that Toyota Camry, or actually, if you need a mid-sized car, Camry's fine. If you can get away with a Corolla, get a Corolla. And then once your debts are cleared, what I would then do is actually create a emergency fund. So emergency fund is something where you have 6 months of expenses saved up, savings, right? So that is another thing I'll do. And then after that, okay, after this point, right? So you're no car loan, no debt, right? No credit card debt, no line of credit, 6 months of savings. Now I would start investing. And the first thing I'll do is just S&P 500s, EFTs, that's perfectly fine. Highly recommend getting into the real estate game, because all the wealthy people do that. But I'll definitely, first get educated in that. I know how to do it in Canada, so I can definitely, give you pointers here. But in the U.S., it's a little bit different. And actually, I'm thinking about doing some in the U.S. as well, because it's actually a lot cheaper in the U.S. compared to Canada. If you didn't know, like, the Ontario and British Columbia are just terrible when it comes to cost of homes. We have a cost of homes issue here. But in the U.S., it's still fine in some areas, but you still got to learn how to, like, what is a deal, and, what kind of revenue will it bring in through rent? Like, what's the interest rates? And again, interest rates are a little stupid right now. Hopefully that will start coming down. So this would be more of a research, like real estate. Once interest rates come down a little bit, then I'll start looking into that, more real estate stuff. But again, in Canada, yeah, I have over 10 homes, and it's doing well. Some are cash flowing, some are breaking even. They're breaking even because the interest rates are super high right now. But once the interest rates come back to normal, they will all cash flow, and they're all building equity, and so that's a good thing. But anyway, this is just a random video I was inspired to do, and just get your finances in order, and hopefully that helps. But if you want to learn how to build, capital, supplement some of your income, success pass formula is the way to go. Anyway, that's it for this video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.